Welcome to my video on 3 easy and interactive online authoring tools to build an amazing online learning experience. In this video, I want to share with you 3 awesome tools that you can use that are very simple, very easy to use, and also very impactful for your learners. The reason why I wanted to make this video is because as someone who builds a lot of online courses and with a background in education and teaching, I noticed that a lot of courses online really do well with video and quizzes and including like action assignments, but the one thing they miss is really that engagement and interactivity. And if you think about it, what people really gravitate towards with online learning is this kind of engagement and this kind of experience and interaction. With those elements, you can not only enhance the learning experience and make it more rewarding, make it more productive, make it more impactful, but you'll also retain more students. And when you have a higher retention rate, much higher retention rate, you will also see benefits in terms of long-term customer retention. So the whole idea by sharing with you these 3 resources to help you build a more better online learning experiences so that you can really connect and really help your students so that they see the results and they see the rewards and benefits and they end up wanting to come back for more. One of the biggest challenges with online learning is that there's so much out there, but the most important thing is really delivering an experience that our students will remember and connect back to you as the creator, instructor, and mentor. I'm going to talk about these 3 tools. Now, there are many other tools out there that you may hear about from instructional designers, but what I like about these 3 tools is that they're easy to use. They're easy to use in the sense that even if you've never used the tool, there's a lot of instructions and they're easy to get started. So when you're first starting out to build a learning experience, there are lots of options out there, but these 3 are most cost-effective and most accessible for all creators. So I'm going to introduce the 3 tools, which is PowerPoint. The second one is called Mazetec, so it really builds interactive scenario-based learning, I like to call mazes. And then the third one is called H5P. Now I know H5P doesn't sound very memorable, but that's just kind of how they came up with their name. First of all, I want to show you an example in Microsoft PowerPoint. And so a lot of people think, oh, PowerPoints are really boring. They're just slides and presentations. But I'm going to show you a jigsaw puzzle that I created. And this is just a sample template that I'm going to demo. And so the idea is that teaching a concept and teaching a lesson, you really want to go beyond video. You want to think about what gets my student interested, what hooks my students in to complete the lesson and master these concepts. And so that's what's really effective about the puzzle is that they really sort of make it more interactive. It's not just like staring at a screen or watching a video and having it on autoplay in the background. It really forces a student to engage with the lesson in a 2-way. So while watching a video, having it on autoplay, or just looking at your screen, those are very one-dimensional way of learning. I think this is another way to add another layer to make it 2-dimensional. So with this jigsaw puzzle, it's interactive in the sense that if I'm asking students, okay, name some global health events based on these pictures. So it's kind of like taking flashcards with pictures and then making it more fun. So if I click on each image, each puzzle piece, it will show me a different image. And so the idea is that I'm getting students to connect not just visually, but also by clicking on the item, clicking on the puzzle piece. So it follows the same with each element of the puzzle piece, and I can keep going and add pictures in the background. And the idea is that this using visual imagery and asking students to click and asking students to name what event is associated with each picture, I'm really prompting and encouraging my students to really pause, also reflect, and also name and jog their memory about what this picture represents in terms of the puzzle piece name. So then I'll keep going, and the most important thing about this is not the actual the most important thing about this is that this puzzle piece is really designed with this kind of interaction in mind. And so the students can kind of continue to jog their memory throughout this puzzle and play this kind of game. The most important thing to remember about learning and online learning experiences is that what really resonates with most of us, and I can speak to this from a sense of when we were kids, what we really liked playing and tuning into imagination was going outside and playing games and drawing tic-tac-toes, or creating stories or creating games out of sticks and whatever is out there in our environment. And so the idea here is that instead of an outdoor physical environment, this is a digital environment, and we're creating and simulating an experience in a very different way. We're simulating an experience in a very engaging way. So that's why I recommend PowerPoint, because there's a lot you can do, not just as a puzzle piece, but you can create flashcards, you can create interactive video. So don't underestimate Microsoft PowerPoint. You can probably do the same thing with Google Slides, but I've been able to do this in Microsoft PowerPoint. So definitely want to recommend PowerPoint because it's also cost effective, and it's a tool that's accessible to people on all levels, beginner or intermediate, and it's a tool that works on many different kinds of devices, whether you're a PC user or a Mac user. And so that's another bonus, is that there's not a lot of complex software to set up, and it's also a software that most people can easily get and sign up for. The second authoring tool that I wanted to suggest is H5P. Now, H5P is very similar to Articulate Storyline, which is a software that a lot of people have heard from instructional designers. Now, H5P, what I like about it is that it offers a 30-day free trial. I'm on the old version, so you can't really see what it's like when I'm in the dashboard. But this gives you a sample of what kinds of lesson types you can make. And what I want to emphasize about this is that what makes H5P really great as an authoring tool is that you can create interactive videos, you can create branching scenarios, different types of interactive quizzes. So there's a lot of different choices to really step up your learning experience and really deliver a more engaging and interactive learning experience. The idea is you're combining a lot of elements with video and text and quiz and images, and it's really about stimulating people's brain so that they're excited about learning, they're excited to continue learning, and they love and are excited by the way that you've delivered this learning to them. If you think about it, learning tends to be very kind of much video-based, which is fine, and these sorts of lesson types give you a lot of options to think creatively and outside your imagination about what's possible. And when you can really expand those possibilities, your students can really benefit in a tremendous and rewarding way. And so if you've never used any of the authoring tools before, H5P is very easy to use, and they also provide lots of instructions, documentation, and examples, and so that you're really not left alone. And that's what really makes a difference about this as a tool, is that compared to other tools out there which require a lot of time to learn, a lot of time to install, and a lot of time to figure out, this is much more simpler and much more easier. They give you instructions and they give you samples, so you're never you can always follow along through each lesson type that you want to build and get guidance and suggestions on how you can design and create these specific lessons. And so what I like is that, so there is a 30-day free trial, and I think afterwards, don't quote me, but then the pricing is something like $100 a month. And if you look, and you're not required to, unlike some softwares that require you to sign up for a yearly license, you can sign up for a license but on a month-to-month basis and see if it works for you and your online course. The other reason why I like this over Articulate Storyline or Adobe Captivate is that Articulate Storyline, while they are also very effective and very interactive for designing learning, they require a lot more onboarding and a lot more learning to get familiar with the tool, to get familiar with the nuances of the software. And when you're building an online learning experience, you really want to focus on the impact to your learner. You don't want to spend too much time building and creating or learning new tools, because when you do, it kind of takes the focus away from building and creating and also getting your course out there to your students. So that's why I recommend H5P, because it's affordable, it's easy, and it requires very little setup. It's all cloud-based, and so you don't have to worry about installing it on your computer or waiting for it to download or reaching out to support if you're having problems. All you have to do is go to h5p.com, sign up for an account, and try it out for 30 days or pay for a subscription. pay for a subscription and you can easily get started. And then my final and last recommendation for authoring tool is Mazetec. And so Mazetec, you can think of it as mazes. They're really kind of like interactive scenarios. And what I like about this is it really kind of challenges you as a creator when you're building lessons to think beyond just video or think beyond quizzes, and to really build these kinds of what I call mazes, or you can call it treasure hunts, where they kind of each kind of lesson that you complete successfully unlocks to the next step. And so it's really fun. And if you think about like corn mazes as a great example, or even like treasure hunts, and those are kind of games that we play as kids and adults that really inspire us, makes us laugh, makes us, really leaves a positive impression upon us when we're learning. This is a sample maze that they provide you so that you can see how it works. So the idea is they take this concept and lesson on how a bill becomes law, and they create different scenarios to walk you through step by step and in a very interactive manner, so that you're not just like reading a text lesson, you're not just watching a video, you're kind of participating in this maze along the way until you get to the end of how the bill actually becomes a law. So what I like about Mazetec is that you build these mazes, and there are many different elements that take you through a maze, and it's very kind of windy. It kind of tosses and turns, or it turns into different corners. You get to sort of unlock different experiences as you continue along. So you can see this is just a sample maze, and I want to kind of give you a preview of then what it looks like, so you can see and decide for yourself how this really benefits your learners. So this is how a bill becomes a law, and then when you're ready to begin the maze, you click on start, and then it'll ask you some questions. Which party do you represent? Let's just say I'm independent, and then sort of they give you these kind of scenarios and examples and say, or write a bill. And then they then ask you, okay, so now you wrote a bill, what's the next step? So it kind of takes you to guess and asking yourself like, okay, so what's my next step? And it's like, I'm not sure, maybe introduce the bill. And then it's like, oh, that's not the right answer. That's not the actual right process. So I want to go back and try something else. And then, okay, it is introduce the bill to the committee. And then you keep going. And sometimes along the way of this maze, you'll find out that you didn't quite get the right answer, or you didn't quite accurately master the concept. And so it gives you as a creator the kind of hint to tell the learner that, hey, this is not accurate, and go back to wherever. And then the cool thing is you can have a prize to say whoever answers this correctly and accurately will win X amount of dollars, and that amount is based on the number of correct answers. So as I started with 100, but I had one wrong answer, so now it's down to 80. So that's just kind of the general idea, and then it's timed. And so the other benefit of this is that it really kind of keeps your students on their toes. With learning, people tend to kind of buy a course with this idea of a lifetime access. And yes, that is important, but we also want to emphasize to our students that you don't want to spend, a lifetime on one course mastering this concept. We want to sort of give you a time so that you have a little bit of a pressure, so that you're really kind of on your toes and you're really holding yourself accountable. And then, so that is Mazetec in a very short demo. The last thing I want to mention is pricing, because that's what's concerning. That's what most people are interested in. And so the cool thing about Mazetec is that they do have a free pricing. As you can see, they have, so 3 people can collaborate on these mazes for $0 a month, and there's unlimited usage. And then if you want to collaborate with more people, let's just say you're building these different scenarios and it's hard to do it all by yourself, and you want to hire some instructional designers and different team members to help you build a really fun maze, then you can have up to 5 people for only $15 a month. So the idea is you can kind of check out the different pricing and see what works for you. But if I had to rank the top 3 in terms of cost, I would say definitely Microsoft PowerPoint, because you only need a subscription to the Microsoft Suite Microsoft software, which ranges from $5 to $7 a month. And then H5P gives you a 30-day free trial, and after that it's like $100. And then Maze starts at a free plan and goes up to $15 a month. So the last thing I want to say is, out of all these tools, it's not about picking the tool, it's about sort of designing a learning experience. And what I like is that you can incorporate all of these different elements into your course so that you can build puzzles, games, and mazes, and different interactions to really engage and excite and help your learners fully experience the joy and beauty of online learning. So these are the 3 tools that I recommend if you're looking for something that is 1, cost effective, 2, easy to use, and 3, has a lot of variety and choices for engaging, stimulating, and exciting. I hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions. Leave a comment. If you have any other questions about other authoring tools that you're interested in exploring to build your online learning experience, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks again.